Coming up on episode 71 of Create If Writing, I'm talking all about how not to be smarmy in Facebook groups.
I can't go back to sleep, it's almost light. These restless thoughts have kept me up again tonight.
Hello, and welcome to the Create If Writing podcast. I'm your host, Kirsten Oliphant, and this is the place for you if you are a writer, blogger, or creative who is trying to build an online platform without being smarmy. And this is a record. I think I have now said smarmy, including this, 3 times within like 45 seconds. But I really like this word. And today we're going to dive into how not to be this word, smarmy, in Facebook groups. So before we get there, I just want to take a moment to say hi and thanks so much for listening. Whether this is your first time or you have been a long time listener, I am so glad that you're here. And if you want to reach out and connect, I am all about connection. So I have a Facebook community where we talk and actually have discussions and are not smarmy at all in there. And you can connect with us there at createifwriting.com/community. And if you want to know about the live trainings that I've got going on and some other special things, I'm about to launch a couple of things I'm really excited about and then have a baby and drop off the face of the earth for a little bit. So if you want to know what's going on, then you can sign up to get emails from me at createifwriting.com/subscribe. Nice and easy links there. And if you're ever wondering, I actually have those set up as actual pages, but there's a really great plugin called Pretty Links that I use to kind of make pretty links when I need to say things easily here on the podcast so that you guys can maybe remember them. Because I don't know about you. I don't know where you listen. I listen while I'm driving to podcasts. So if things have a really easy ring to them, then I might remember when I get out of the car, but otherwise they may be forgettable. So when people are saying, come visit me at so-and-so.com/something-something-dot-something, I'm like, nope, never gonna happen. So I like to make it easy. So if you're looking for a way to do that, Pretty Links is a very easy way. It makes all these neat redirects. Speaking of which, if you want to find the show notes for this episode, that's going to be at createifwriting.com/071 for episode 71. So a little bit about what's going on with me, and then I want to dive into Facebook groups because I have a lot to say. And I feel like so many of us are in Facebook groups that you guys will be hopefully excited to listen, and you will probably be very familiar with some of the pet peeves and mistakes and things I'm going to share. So I'm very excited. But I do want to give a shout out to my people who are doing the Twitter challenge with me, the Tweet Yourself challenge, which started last week. And it's no longer open, but I will be doing it a couple times next year. And I want to learn from some mistakes. I don't know that there have been huge mistakes. I left a link out of an email today, so that stinks. But overall, just some of the things that have happened that I want to learn from and grow from. But it's been a great first group. So if you're in that first group, holla, you guys are fantastic. And you know that you can connect with me at Kiki Mojo on Twitter. But it's been really fun to see people who really don't like Twitter or haven't gotten it kind of have these aha moments and to just see everybody tweeting and engaging and doing different things. So very fun. If you want information on that, I will be promoting it through my email list and talking about it again in the podcast, or you can sign up kind of on the waiting list if you go to createifwriting.com/tweet yourself, which is kind of like treat yourself from Parks and Rec. You can Google that if you're not sure what that is. So that's been really, really fun. I am 5 weeks to the day away from having a baby. Or is it 4? I don't do math well, you guys. I'm not good with dates or numbers. 4 or 5 weeks away. I do have a C-section scheduled. I wish that I were giving birth at home in a tub, but that is not my life. So this is our 5th child, and we will be having it in a hospital via surgery, unfortunately, but that's how life is. So yeah, that'll be November 14th. You can do the math and tell me how many weeks that is, or I guess I could look it up. I don't care. I'm kind of like, hey, it's my 5th baby. Tell me when to show up. I'll be there. After that, I'm not even sure what's going to happen. I don't know that I'm taking a full break or just a tiny break, but there will be some breakage, some scaling back Obviously, that has to happen, but I like what I do, so I'll also be here to some degree. But that's kind of what's going on with me. And before that happens, I'm also launching some really cool stuff. And if you are not subscribed to my email list or in the Facebook group, you won't hear about it because there's some things I'm not going to be promoting anywhere but to people who have kind of committed in that way. So you want to be committed in that way, trust me. Okay, so let's talk Facebook groups. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you in Facebook groups? I'm going to actually run a little contest here. I moderate a stupid large number of Facebook groups. So if you can guess the number of Facebook groups that I own or moderate, I'm going to kind of put them in the same group. If I own or moderate, guess the right number, and the first person to guess the right number and tweet at me is going to get a copy of my book, Email List Made Easy for Writers and Bloggers. And if you already have that, then I'll give you a copy of another book. We can talk. So tweet at me at Kiki Mojo and guess the number of groups that I own or moderate. It's ridiculous. It's not in the hundreds. So, okay, it's under 100. Okay, that's good, right? But I do have a little problem. Facebook groups are pretty amazing. If you're in Facebook groups, you know that there's a group for everything. But the problem has become everybody is kind of telling everybody else, hey, Facebook groups are fantastic for promotion. They're fantastic for growing. It's a great way to meet clients and to find people to buy your stuff. Go to Facebook groups. That's where your ideal reader is. And it's true. Your ideal reader probably isn't a Facebook group. But what that means is that Facebook groups have become filled with people trolling around trying to find customers. And so it gets very gross and smarmy very quickly, especially when it's like a group that is built by another blogger doing the same thing. And they've built this group and then other bloggers come in and get all smarmy there. So we're going to talk about some best practices, how not to be smarmy in Facebook groups, both as a group member, which is where we're going to start, and then as a group owner. So I'll start with the story. A few weeks ago, this is kind of what inspired me wanting to do this as a podcast episode. I was in a group that has maybe about 20,000 members. It's a large group. And somebody posted this ranty thread. And the gist of it was, I'm so tired of Facebook groups and the moderators being so stingy and not letting us come in there and teach people. I just want to teach people and add value, and my links keep getting, it wasn't links. My posts keep getting deleted by the group owners, and I'm just sick of it. It's not fun anymore. And there were basically two different groups of people who responded in the thread. And I'm not going to tell you yet which way I responded. You may be able to guess. So the first group of people said, yeah, you're right. I'm so sick of these groups and their rules. It's just rules. You can't do anything. What's the point if you can't bring value? And then the other people said, hey, there's actually a reason that moderators moderate and don't let you teach in these groups. Because it's somebody else's group, not your group to teach in. And so there were kind of these two groups battling it out, and I made a comment and then just sort of followed it because I wanted to see what people said. And I could see a lot of the different sides to the arguments, but I fall into one of those categories more than the other. So let's talk about best practices of how to behave in a Facebook group as a member, and specifically as a member who is someone trying to promote something, whether that's page views on your blog, you want to find more readers, or you're selling your products or coaching or trying to sell your books, okay? So you are someone who is in a Facebook group and you're trying to do those things. That's one of your goals. It may not be the only reason you're in the group, but that's a goal you have in life. So let's talk about that. The very first thing, and actually all these kind of fall under this umbrella of like, just don't be smarmy. But because that's not always clear, we're going to break it down. Okay, but you can always remember, like, that's the overarching umbrella over your head in Facebook groups, okay? So the first thing is you need to follow the rules. And this seems dumb, but you would just be shocked at like how often this is a broken thing that people do not read the rules. Here's where you can find the rules for most groups. There is often a pinned post. Now, the problem with Facebook groups is sometimes you can't see the pinned post. Like you have to click a little thing like view pinned post, which is just dumb. But also there's often a little description about this group over in the sidebar. Some people even put it in the header. They put the rules of the group, the few basic rules. And typically these rules are kind of the same. Most groups that are active and healthy do not allow you to post promotional links, period. And there's a really good reason for that. If you're in a group, I think I was in a few groups that were like aimed at promotion, like Facebook author promotion group or whatever. And when you went in there, all it was authors just posting in there links to their books, and nobody was liking anything. Nobody was commenting on anything. It was just like this graveyard of links, like where you would post links to your book to go and die in this Facebook group. It's just not good. And if you have a larger group and everybody just comes in every day and posts links, then there's nothing of value in the group at all. And you may think your blog post is the most amazing thing ever. It may be helpful to other people in the group, but dropping your link right on the wall of a Facebook group is most likely not allowed in the group. So that's one of the big things, but that is just pretty typical. I think something really important too, once you read the rules and you join a group, is to listen before you speak, because every group has its own kind of group culture or group vibe that is put out by the owner of the group and established by them. Some people do a better job of this than others. This is something I really want to do a good job at, is setting the tone for the group. I've been in some groups where the moderators or owners aren't really present. And so it's kind of hard to tell what the tone is, but you want to go listen, see what kind of things other people post, read through the wall, see what kind of posts are there already. Is it just a bunch of different threads? Are people dropping links? Is that kind of group? Are people asking questions? Are they discussing? But it's really weird. I know as a group owner that it's kind of odd when you approve somebody for membership to a group and the very first thing they do is post a bunch of stuff. Now, if they're posting like, thanks for adding me, I'm really excited to learn, that kind of post, that's great. But I know recently I've had a few people and they've left my group since, but they joined and like within 30 seconds have posted like this giant thing. And it was clearly something they'd copied and pasted because they couldn't have written it in the time between like me approving them and then posting it. So it was something they were just going and copying and pasting. I'm like, you don't even know. My group is closed. So like you can't see what people post if you're not a member. You have no idea what anybody posts in here. You just jump right in and assume this is what you do. So you really need to get to know the group a little bit before you're going to just say a bunch of stuff. That's just kind of important. So if you're in doubt and you're not really sure, ask the group moderator. I have had people ask me if they can promote various things before, and I will think about the value that it adds to the group and think about my audience, and then we'll say yes or no. And then when I do that, if I say yes, then I'll have them kind of put a little thing in that says admin approved, or Kirsten said I could post this here. So people know, because otherwise then everybody thinks, oh, I want to post a link to my thing. So I'm going to post a link to my thing in there. I usually do say yes. There are a few exceptions. One of those is if it's something like, as a person who teaches and runs a business, if I have a product that's like the same as what you're asking to promote, that's just kind of weird. Because it's like you're like, hey, coming over to, I was going to use used car lots as an example, which is terrible, but I'm going to go with it. So it'd be like you coming over to my used car lot that I've like built, and you're like, hey, I've got this used car. I'm going to go ahead and set this up over here and sell it and then keep the profits, but I'm going to use your lot to do it. Okay. Again, terrible example, but I think it makes the point, right? So that's just a little bit weird. So you do need to think about that. Like, is the person in the group who runs the group, do they sell something similar to what you want to promote, or do they have something similar? Because it's kind of a conflict of interest there, and it doesn't show a real sense of generosity or value if you're trying to kind of undercut them or compete with them. You shouldn't be competing with the group owner. The other thing I think is important, if you're going to post links to things or ask the administrator, you need to think about how it really presents value. Like, are you really just trying to get sales or just trying to get people to read your blog post? Or are you actually trying to give value? Because I think kind of coming back to the person asking about the teaching question and their whole rant about not being allowed to teach, it became very clear through the comments and through the discussion that the only reason this person was trying to teach was to gain customers and actually build their own Facebook group, which is kind of gross, right? It's a little bit smarmy to go piggyback off of something somebody else built to build your own thing. Now, you may authentically connect with people in Facebook groups, and then they may come find you and follow you. That's great. But if you're going in, what she was doing was posting like a giant post that was teaching something. And I don't know what, because I didn't ever see any of her teaching posts, but, some kind of life lesson or a business lesson or a blogging lesson, but in somebody else's Facebook group, that's just a little weird because she was doing it in a group that was also about teaching. The owners of the group are people who teach and teach the same kind of things. And so for her to complain about that was a little bit weird, I thought, which clearly is letting you know a little bit more about what camp I'm in. So you don't want to be competing with the group owners. You don't want to post, this drives me nuts. You don't want to post your affiliate links to things in somebody else's Facebook group, right? Again, smarmy, you're trying to like take a spot, like edge them out of their own property and sell your stuff right there in their yard. Now we're using yard analogies. So is it okay to teach? Like, how do you provide value? Because that's kind of what I've heard a lot of people talk about, how to use Facebook groups and they're like, provide value. Well, teaching, and again, I don't know exactly what this person meant, but I assumed it was this long kind of post where they share a life lesson or something that relates to business. That kind of stuff is usually like a very thinly disguised promotional link, right? It's someone trying to build up their own name, their own reputation, and their own business in someone else's Facebook group. I have seen people add value to groups before through that, but for the most part, it's just people who want to promote themselves and they're trying to do it in a sneaky way. So we're all pretty smart, right? So that's like subtle smarmy, and we're all a little aware of it. So don't have, you need to ask yourself your motivation. And people started questioning this person's motivations for the kind of post that she was doing. And she kind of didn't have a good answer for this because it was obvious that she was trying to promote her own stuff. What you need to remember out of Facebook group is that you are a guest in someone else's home. So that's why you follow their rules. That's why you're not going to compete with them and try to like take stuff out of their house or take their guests and invite them to your own party at your own house that's happening at the same time. The person creating the group, it's their group. And this isn't like a narcissistic thing. This is a real thing, okay? When asked, the same girl was asked if she had her own Facebook group. Like, why don't you just build your own Facebook group and teach? Her response just kind of killed me. She said that she had one, but it only had 100 members in it. And I just kind of like, I wanted to like reach through the computer and punch her because here are the two problems with that. One, if you're one of those 100 members, say you also are in this 20,000 member group, how like important are you going to feel where she says, oh, I only have 100 people. I can't teach them. Okay, that's one problem. Okay, you're not valuing your members if you're valuing them based on the numbers. Also, think about having 100 people in a room listening to you. That's pretty awesome, right? Right. So don't devalue your group based on the numbers. The other thing is this, that 20,000 person group at one time had 100 members. And how do you think they grew that group to 20,000 people? Was it by saying, man, I only have 100 people? No, it was by valuing the members of the community, however many members that is, valuing those members for what they bring to the group, whether it's 100, 500, or 5,000, it's valuing the members of the group. I think I just had my own little rant there at this Facebook girl. I really feel like we all just need to kind of have some common sense about this. And it seems like common sense, but I think when people get mad that they can't do things in Facebook groups, it's because what they really, really want is to promote their own stuff, period. That's it. So if that's what you want to do in a Facebook group, Facebook groups can be a good place to do that. Follow the rules, share in sharing threads. You can answer questions for people. Although I would say if I've been in groups where I've seen the person tag the group owner like, hey, so-and-so group owner, what do you use for this? And about 6 people, it's like they're ready. They're sitting there ready at their computers waiting for people to ask questions. And they all jump in with their things or their affiliate links even. I've seen that too. Meanwhile, the group owner is like, hey, I would also like to talk since she addressed me in the first place. Just be considerate. Like, I feel like, again, this is common sense, but I feel like I see it just abused all the time. Stop it. Stop it with the abuse. Be genuine. The other thing that drives me totally nuts is when people copy and paste, and I kind of mentioned this with somebody who joined my group and is now gone, but when you copy and paste the same message to like 6 groups or 8 groups, chances are there are people that are in multiple of those same groups and they see it on their Facebook wall, okay? I don't know if you know this, but it's true. So I have actually seen that before where I see so-and-so posted here, so-and-so posted here, and it's like right in a row. And so it's really obvious and it's kind of just gross and kind of embarrassing, okay? Why are you cross-posting, especially if it's like those thinly guised, teaching things, which is what I often see. If you're asking for help, I understand cross-posting that in a group. And I've seen people put cross-posted, which is really helpful and not smarmy. But if you're just asking a question, like, who cares how many groups you posted in? But if you're posting something that's meant to be promotional, however you frame it, don't copy and paste it in 20 stinking groups. It's just dumb. Do ask questions. Do talk. Do engage in a Facebook group. Be a real person. And if you don't want to do that, leave the group. Why are you there? Rant over. Okay, so that's a little bit about how to be a good group member. But I also want to talk about how to be a good group owner. And this will be a little bit shorter and less ranty. And P.S., I just want to say that these are not based, almost none of these are based on people in my groups, because my groups are awesome. So I want you guys all to know, hey guys, in my Facebook group, this is not one of those like weird passive aggressive like messages to you like, oh, my group's driving me crazy, I'll just do a podcast on it. Nope, you guys are awesome. This is mostly based on stuff I see in other groups that drives me bananas. And the one example I did use from my group was somebody who came and left, and I actually reached out via email and tried to get them to stay and tried to explain, hey, let me help you learn to use Facebook groups a little better. And they were like, no, thanks. I want to copy and paste my stuff. So anyway, yes, this is not a veiled criticism of my Facebook groups because you guys are amazing. Okay, so if you're a group owner, here are some things. And I think being a group owner is amazing, and maybe we'll have a longer episode or even an interview because I know some great Facebook group builders. The first, don't add people to a group without permission. The exception for this is if you're building a group, you have to add somebody. Like at the very beginning, to make a group, they make you add somebody. So I have like 2 or 3 BFFs, and I'm always like, oh, hey, yeah, so I added you to a Facebook group I made. And they're like, that's cool, because you have to add somebody. So you need one of those friends who can be like your Facebook group ad. Everybody else, no. Especially if it's direct marketing and some kind of sales group. And I will confess that long before I realized and really was into Facebook groups, I did that with mascara. There's a really cool mascara, and the person selling it was like, hey, we'll do this sale. You just add a bunch of people to the group. And I did it, and I made a bunch of sales, but it felt really gross. And especially the more I use Facebook groups, I was like, that was so wrong. So if you're one of the people I added, I'm so sorry. I won't do that again, but don't do that. Recently, a blogger who has a page decided to move from a page to a group, and she paid her virtual assistant to go track down every person that liked the page and add them to a group without permission. And it really ticked me off. And I may have wanted to stay in the group. I mean, I liked the page, right? But it really annoyed me. And so it's just one of those things. Like if she had asked on her page, hey guys, join the group. Yeah, Facebook likes to hide things. People wouldn't have seen it. But adding me myself, I left because I don't want to be there because I don't like that. I guess I am getting a little ranty here. And I want you guys to share your rants too. So we'll definitely talk about this in our Facebook group. You can also tweet at me too. This one's hard. Don't make it narcissistic. Okay, your group is your home. It's about you. Your group and my group it comes from my platform, right? My group is creative writing. It comes from this podcast and my website. It is based on the things I teach. So in some ways, yeah, it is about me. But if I'm acting like that all the time, who's going to want to be in my group, you guys, if I'm not offering value? Okay, so you can build it around yourself, your content, your platform, the things that you sell if you're running a business, but you don't want to make it so much about you that nobody wants to be there. Find your balance. Have a purpose for the group. Give back to your group members. Give them exclusive content. Give them your time. Give them access to you. Care about them, not as numbers, not as like, oh, I only have 100 people in my Facebook group. No, value every person in that Facebook group. That is really, really important. No matter the size, value the people in your Facebook group. Be present in your group. This is the biggest thing that I see people not doing, especially in these big groups, is they're never there. Okay. So the things that probably attracted people in the beginning, which was that personal touch, they're gone and the owner is not there at all. So I know, especially as groups get larger, it's really hard to manage, but you need to be present in your group. If you're going to have a group, be present. Allow for discussion, allow for sharing in some way, even if it's just 1 or 2 threads a week. Promote discussion, ask questions that people want to answer. I like to ask fun questions. Sometimes one of the best questions asked was by Matt McCarrick. Hey, shout out to Matt, who is my community wizard, and he's someone who volunteered to he wants to help with my Facebook group, which is really fun, and other stuff. And he's actually been in South Africa for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, Matt, I miss your discussion. So he's been posting these great discussion threads. And one of the ones he posted was like, what was the best vacation you ever took? Does that have anything to do with writing? No, not unless it was a writing vacation, but people talked. And the more people talk about those things, it's like a low entry point kind of question. Whereas if you're like, what did you do this week in terms of your business? If you're really like had that week where you're like, nothing, my week sucked. There's all this pressure and you don't want to answer, but everybody wants to answer where they traveled. And there were like 50 responses. It was amazing. So allow for discussion, not just necessarily on your topic. The other thing I really don't like as a group member when I see group owners doing this is just using auto schedulers. So Facebook, you can use something like Hootsuite, or you can use Edgar. I see a lot of people doing Edgar. It's every week on those days they have those specific thread like Motivational Monday, Share a Win Wednesday, those kinds of things, which are fine, but it's just scheduled out over Edgar. And if those are the only things that are being posted in the group, it goes back to that whole thing of the group owner not being present. You want to be present in the group. It's too hands off. It can be helpful for you. And if you want to schedule those posts that way, that's fine. But you should be present somewhere else also and having other threads that day or other discussions that day or other posts from you that day. You can use Facebook Live to connect with your group. That's an amazing, amazing tool. Also, because you know I'm all about this, disclose affiliate links. If you're promoting products in your group that are affiliate links, please disclose them. Please, please. It drives me bananas. So that's one of my other big pet peeves. I feel like this was maybe, no, there's no maybe. This was my rantiest episode ever. But I feel like it needs to be said. Can I get an amen from people in Facebook groups? Are you guys seeing these kinds of behaviors? Are you finding that you're leaving groups because it's just a link graveyard, or because people are being so smarmy, or people are fighting, or because the group owner is so narcissistic that nobody can post anything without getting deleted? Are you finding this? Am I the only one getting annoyed by this? Am I in too many Facebook groups? The answer is probably yes. I don't know actually the number of Facebook groups I'm in. I know how many I moderate. Actually, I'm going to have to look it up because I think I've created new groups since the last time I checked. And once again, I'm going to give away a free book to the first person who guesses how many groups I moderate on Facebook. I'm not sure that you can check this from your end. I can check it. But anyway, if you figure out how to check it from your end, that's not cheating. That's just smart. Just smart business there. But you will win a free book, the first person to tweet at me the correct number, and I will not change it for the week. I won't delete any groups that I moderate. Also, fun fact, if you want to delete a group that you've created, you have to delete every member first. Something to think about when growing a group. So I'll leave you with that. You can find my ranty show notes over at creativewriting.com/071. And with all this ranting, now I feel a lot of pressure to make my group awesome. So I'm going to head over and make sure I'm definitely present there this week. And if you want to join us, you can at creativewriting.com/community. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much to Jasmine Commerce of JasmineCommerceMusic.com for the wonderful tunes to this show. With all of this in mind, I hope you can find ways to not be smarmy in Facebook groups and have an inspired week.